Alright. The fuck am I doing? We're never using those again, so sell those back, get some of my money back. Alright, so I don't think I've ever explained this. I'm doing this as diplomatic as possible.
Goodbye. May the enlightened always keep you in his divine blessing.
Question the prostitutes. Question the innkeeper. Question the prostitutes.
To my health, and death to the others! Come Things are about to get dicey. Come
I'm talking about freedom of speech. When I say that we should always do what's right, I'm talking about morality.
Take it.
You can have a right to do something that's not morally right. So
Take.
the same word, but with two different meanings. Is that what we're doing when we talk about Muhammad's aorta being severed?
Take.
Are we using the word aorta, but with two different meanings? Not at all. We're using two words
Take.
that refer to the same thing. Even in
Take.
English, you can call it the aorta, or you can call it
We
the
need money. We're taking as much as we can.
has more than one word for the aorta. But the word in the Quran refers to
Things cost money.
and the word in the Hadith refers to the aorta. So, is this equivocation? Are we using
Take it all.
two meanings? No, we're using two words that have the same meaning. To give an example, suppose Muhammad had said, if I'm a false prophet, Allah will kill me by drowning me in a pool of H2O. Suppose that later, Muhammad was drowning in a pool of water, and he screamed, I'm drowning in a pool of water. Naturally, he would point out
Greetings.
that Muhammad died in
Quartermaster
the way he
Herbert.
said he
I'm in
would
charge
die
of these
if
barracks.
he were a
And
false
you
prophet.
are?
Desade,
How would
legate of the
Muslim
congregation.
apologists respond?
Nice to meet you,
They'd
Your
say,
Excellency.
no.
And what can I do
Muhammad
for
said
you?
that if he was a false prophet, he would
That
drown
will
in
be
a
all,
pool of
Courtmaster.
H2O.
Thank you.
But he drowned in a pool of water. You see? H2O, water. Two different terms. You're committing the fallacy of equivocation, dummy. No. A pool of H2O is the same thing as a pool of water. They refer to the same thing. The aorta is the life artery. The life artery is the aorta. They're the same thing. So Allah said how Muhammad would die if he were to fabricate revelations, and that's exactly how Muhammad died. Now, for the sake of intellectual charity, I'll help our Muslim apologist friends here. If you want to call this argument fallacious,
Is there a prostitute in the jail?
and you do get a logical fallacy. If you put this argument in deductive form, you get premise 1. If Muhammad is a false prophet, his
Why are there
aorta will be severed.
prostitutes in the right next to the
Muhammad's aorta
doctors
was
in jails?
Conclusion, therefore, Muhammad was a false prophet. This argument commits what's called the fallacy of
So,
affirming the consequence.
Have you found what you were looking for?
Fortunately,
Let's just say that I'm gathering information.
My treasures are worth their price. I promise you that you will get your money's worth. For you, I'm sure we can make a special arrangement.
Father, do you want to explain to this man why we are here?
Of course. We are not here for your services, but to lead an investigation. Several clients of yours have made a complaint. Precious objects disappearing after your employees' visits.
People in very high places are concerned, which explains why we've been asked to take care of it.
This cannot be. Well, listen. Come in, but please be discreet.
Thank you for your cooperation.
was fought in either 628 or 629. Muhammad died in 632. So Muhammad died a few years after
There are too many of you for me alone, my little lambs.
poisoned
Sorry,
by a
madam,
Jewish woman around
but we are here to ask other favors of you.
I don't like
This
this hat.
question might seem a little surprising,
father
but do you know who this earring might belong to?
after the men
It's mine.
family had been
That was quick.
the woman.
How did you get hold of it?
Are you sure you want to broach that subject here?
Muhammad
You're right.
accepted the
Come with me.
invitation and he was poisoned.
Well, what do you want? Why are you giving me back my earring?
You know where we found it, don't you?
Years later,
Obviously.
can we say
I
that he
realized
died?
as soon as I got back that I'd lost it.
I imagine your pimp does not know that you take part in these parties.
After a few
He
years,
doesn't dabble in this at all.
doctors
No, do not say anything to him, I beg you. He's on my case enough as it is.
Then I suggest you answer my questions.
as a simple example, I
What would you like to know?
Could you tell us who you saw at the parties?
Rich people, or better. They seemed very rich and important to me, but I don't know them.
Do you know who organizes these parties?
Not really, no. A steward pays me when I go, but I don't see anyone else, apart from the clients.
You can't even give me a single name?
No. The only person who sometimes speaks to this steward is a woman. She's always wearing a green coat. She never takes part in the festivities, but the steward rushes over whenever she arrives.
Do you think that an important person from Tuleme could have partaken in these soirees?
You're thinking of Mother Cardinal, aren't you? You lot really think we are a bunch of degenerates.
You're hardly a shining example of virtue, my child. Just answer our questions.
Sorry,
Okay,
Father,
hi,
I don't know
mighty
the Mother
motherfucker.
Cardinal, but I strongly doubt she dabbles in that.
You don't think you could recognize her, and you don't think you've crossed paths. What a testimony.
So, as usual, Mensch has no clue what he's talking about.
Admit it.
But let's
You
ignore
must know
all
more
of
than you're
that.
letting on.
Let's
It's
pretend
virtually
there's
impossible
no
not to
way a
recognize
person could
someone
die
while being
from
so close to these
complications
influential
years after being
people.
poisoned.
Wouldn't you agree?
Mensch, Muhammad
Well,
didn't
I
die
was
from
able
being
to
poisoned.
recognize someone once. Even with a mask on, I'm good at recognizing my clients.
Please continue.
Can't kill you
I'm all
years
ears.
later, right?
I don't want to implicate anyone, but he is of no real importance, and you've probably never even heard of him. It's the local moneylender.
I know very well who you're referring to, my dear.
But I didn't mention anything to you. Huh? This stays between us.
I don't even remember the subject of this conversation anymore.
Gave him a roasted sheep that she had poisoned. And the
This woman in the green coat.
as did the people.
Could you tell me about her?
She always hides her face and never joins us. Then she disappears into a little office and locks the door.
I see.
You look like you got
She
the
is quite
herpes.
important then.
He sent word to the
Do
Jewish
you know
woman
someone who
asking
goes by the name of Candy Cane?
Everyone does.
said if you were
He is a powerful person, so his name makes the rounds.
We're gonna
Have you
kill
ever
him.
spotted him at these pleasure parties?
In all honesty, I wouldn't even be able to recognize him. I've heard his name before, but that's all.
Thank you for your help.
Be sure not to mention this to anyone. I'd lose my clients if they suspected me of speaking about them, you know.
he continued to feel pain because of what he ate, so it affected him internally. And after years of being in pain because of the poison, it was finally killing him. So, Muhammad claimed that he was dying from poison. Mensch says that's a lie. I assume that Mensch believes that his prophet knew why he was dying, and yet Mensch believes that his prophet falsely claimed that he was dying from poison. Hence, Mensch, Muhammad lied. Muhammad was a liar, just like the God he worshipped. But Muhammad would obviously want his lie to be believable, so Muhammad must have believed that poison can kill you years after you eat the poison. Mensch thinks that it's completely moronic to believe that poison can kill you years after you eat the poison. Thus, Muhammad was a moron, according to Mensch. This means that, according to Muslim apologists, Muhammad was a lying moron. Now, here's what's interesting. Mensch and I aren't very far apart on this one. We both believe that Muhammad was a lying moron based on this story. We just have different
Maybe unless you protect me in this battle. To my health. And death to the others!
clear invitation from a woman whose entire family was just slaughtered by the moron's followers. But Muhammad also claimed that he received a divine revelation informing him that the food was poisoned. And yet the divine revelation came after he swallowed some of the poison. And Muhammad's companion who died said that he could taste the poison.
Where the fuck is the innkeeper?
Islam is a collection of teachings and practices that were common in Arabia during the time of Muhammad. There were several
Can I get you anything?
Jews preaching monotheism in Arabia.
I'm here for something else. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
If you wish. What would you like to know?
Many of the stories in these additional sources
Ask.
are based on biblical characters, but the
I am looking for a woman who comes here.
Abraham being delivered
She always wears a long green coat.
Yes, I have seen this coat before, but I have no idea who is beneath it, if that's what you're asking. All I know is that I've seen her speaking to a regular, a steward of the palace who comes to place big orders. Always prime choice.
Jesus giving life to clay birds.
What can you tell me about a certain candy cane?
Candy cane. Everyone speaks about him, or has heard of him, but no one really knows him.
And what do they say about him?
Here, nothing. You need to go downstairs for that sort of thing.
To the games room and the brothel?
Yes, that's more the kind of place where they talk about him.
I have to go. I will leave you to your work.
Heard it. Now it's in the Quran. The Quran even claims that Alexander the Great was a devout Muslim. We know historically that he was a complete pagan. During Muhammad's time, the Sabians, who are mentioned several times in the Quran, recited a creed. La ilaha illallah. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad heard this creed and simply added the words, and Muhammad is his messenger. The Sabians also prayed at all 5 of the times that Muslims pray during their
Good day.
prayers.
Welcome. You here to wager? To fight?
After death, a paradise of sensual delights awaited them, complete with moorings and perpetual virgins, Muslims believe.
On what would we be betting?
On the fights in the arena. You never heard of them? Quite a few come here and bet fortunes.
And do they win?
A few do, others have less luck. But they do get the thrill either way, you see. And that's all that counts.
What is this arena?
It's a place of great
You
pomp
fight
and
in it.
entertainment.
What?
Where all manner of fights take
Bitch,
place.
you fight it!
Women, savage beasts, island monsters. People are coming from everywhere on the island to participate. Or to bet.
I imagine that the name Candy Cane rings a bell.
Obviously. Even though I would prefer it wasn't the case. He's a sort of organizer. He captures most of the beasts who fight in the arena.
How is that a problem?
Apparently, he's fixed a few fights. These kind of rumors aren't good for my business.
If that's the case, why don't you stop him?
He has friends, protectors. Without solid evidence, no one will lift a finger. And the only ones who wanted to speak of his cartel have disappeared.
Do you know where I could find him?
He often hangs out around the port at night, but I strongly advise you to stay away from the guy.
I know how to look after myself. Thanks for the information. I am looking for someone. A woman wearing a big green coat.
Yeah, I know who you mean. She's a good client. She comes in especially for the big fights, and she has prime information.
Do you know where I can find her?
No, I don't even know her name.
She wouldn't happen to be coming back to collect some winnings, would she?
No, and I can't really tell you when she'll show up next.
I must be going.
Next time, then.
Can we fight like that? I mean,
This is when Muhammad took control of the Kaaba. But why would he want to take control of a pagan temple and make it the center of Islamic worship? Let's back up a bit. When Muhammad and his followers were in Mecca years earlier, they prayed facing Jerusalem. Pagans prayed facing the Kaaba. Muslims prayed facing Jerusalem like the Jews. You could line up the Kaaba and Jerusalem if you wanted, so they were facing both. But the Qibla, the direction of
I feel like we don't even need to go to the Moneylander. What the fuck?
really thought that the Jews were going to accept him as a prophet. The Muslim community eventually moved to Medina, and the Jews could tell immediately that Muhammad was a false prophet because they knew the Torah, and Muhammad only knew some stories that he had heard with small ears. But Muhammad couldn't even get those stories right. So the Jews
Can I help you?
Yes, actually. I have a small favor to ask.
You don't look like you need money from me.
I'll
I
get
do.
straight to the point. I have bad news for you. I know about the decadent parties at the palace. I know that you take part in them.
What? What are you talking about?
Stop acting all innocent. I have all the evidence I need to incriminate you. Although your reputation isn't spotless, there are others who have a lot more at stake than you. What if I were to spread it around town that you boast about being there? You know what happens when tongues wag too much.
That's enough. All right, I get the message. What do you want?
Absolutely none, apart from the fact that Muhammad said it. That's good enough.
It would appear that you know the Mother Cardinal very well. I know that she borrowed money from you. I even know how much. What I want to know is why.
I have no idea. Do you really think that my clients tell me everything about their lives?
Does she still owe you money?
No, she always pays me back on time, and with interest.
Do you think she is plundering the city funds?
Ha! If that were the case, the funds would have been depleted long ago. Nah, the money's coming from elsewhere.
Tell me about Candy Cane.
We're not close, if that's what you want to know. I just know his name, like everyone else. I mean, there are some rumours. They say he does his business in the basement of the Coin Tavern.
What kind of business?
Oh, nothing to do with my line of business. He deals in arena fights. Beyond me.
I would advise you to keep all of this to yourself.
I don't want any trouble. I will be as silent as a stone.
So, how do you see things, my child?
I think that the usurer is lending money to the Cardinal, and very significant sums at that. With this money, she bets on the arena fights while hiding in a big green coat, and she also gives large amounts to a certain Candy Cane, known for fixing fights.
Not only does our dear Cornelia love betting games, but she also wouldn't think twice about cheating to win.
Maybe he is just giving her advice. How can we prove anything?
We can always try asking him. Who knows? Perhaps he will give us an answer.
Nope, we're going to kill him. We are just going to kill him. Brutally, violently.
Stars and constellations, but they also knew about 7 heavenly objects that seemed to have their own motions: the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. They didn't have telescopes yet, so they didn't know about the other planets. According to the pagans, each of these 7 heavenly objects was orbiting the Earth, and each was associated with a particular pagan deity. Why did the pagans of Mecca circle the Kaaba 7 times? To honor and worship the 7 planetary deities that they believe were circling the Earth. This is as pagan as you could possibly get, and now this thoroughly pagan practice is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. But let me guess, if it looks like paganism and walks like paganism and talks like paganism, it must be pure monotheism in disguise, right? When they visit the Kaaba, Muslims do their best to kiss the black stone. That's funny, the pagans of Arabia used to worship stones too. Sahih al-Bukhari, 4376. Narrated Abu Raja al-Tari. We used to worship stones. When we found a better stone than the first one, we would throw the first stone and take the latter. But if we could not get a stone, then we would collect some earth, i.e. soil,
Candy Cane
and
is
then
not
bring a
here.
sheep and milk
At
that
least
sheep
not
over it
yet.
and perform the
Remember, my child, the bookmaker told us that he hangs around here at night.
military action.
That's true, you were right. Let's come back later.
And throw away the iron parts of every spear and arrow in the month of Rajab.
It's almost night though. Why do I have to?
Stone, and they would trade that stone for a better stone to worship. When does that process stop? When you get to the best stone, the black stone at the Kaaba. That's what the pagans do. What do Muslims do when they get to the Kaaba? They kiss the black stone. It's as if Muslims are saying, we want to be as idolatrous as possible, but we're still not idolaters. Interestingly, even Muhammad's companions understood that kissing the black stone
I just wasted that.
Because Muhammad had done it. In Sahih al-Bukhari, 1597, we read, narrated Abbas bin Rabi'a, Umar came near the black stone and kissed it and said, no doubt I know that you are a stone and can neither harm anyone nor benefit anyone. Had I not seen Allah's messenger kissing you, I would not have kissed you. This is Umar, the second rightly guided caliph, saying that he knows he shouldn't be kissing a pagan idol like the black stone, but he does it anyway because Muhammad did it.
Might as well kill time. Come on, Mateus.
When the pagans took the pilgrimage to Mecca, they would run back and forth between the hills of Safa and Marwa. They ran back and forth between them to honor the pagan idols. Yusuf Ali comments on Surah 2, verse 158 of the Quran. The virtue of patient perseverance and faith leads to the mention of two symbolic monuments of that virtue. These are the two little hills of Safa and Marwa, now absorbed in the city of Mecca, and close to the well of Zamzam. Here, according to tradition, the Lady Hagar, mother of Ismail, prayed for water in the parched desert, and in her eager quest,
You're just everywhere, aren't you?
found her prayer answered.
Ready to excite the crowd?
Unfortunately, the pagan Arabs had placed a male and a female idol here, and their gross and superstitious
Perfect.
rites
As soon as you're ready, you can jump right in. You've grown to love their faces. You know their tactics. The excellents are back, and they are now more ready than ever to fight to win with all their hearts. The fourth challenge.
Why are we being called the Excellence?
Information ever. But what do we actually know here? We
Protect me in this battle. To my hand. Move away. Things are about to get dicey.
Oh, we might actually die. Fuck, fuck.
Things are about to get dicey.
These are where bombs would be useful. But you know. Okay.
religious scholars, in order to rescue Islam, have to throw Ibn Abbas under the bus. This is getting
Fuck it.
ridiculous. Sahih al-Bukhari
I forgot to save.
Protect me in this battle. To my hand. And death to the others.
Okay.
Shadowing gulf our enemies. Things are about to get dicey. Move away. Things are about to get dicey.
pagans did. They just rename it monotheism. Second, the pagans of Arabia were local groups. They weren't going to spread their pagan practices around the world. But Islam has taken the same idolatrous pagan nonsense practiced by the Meccans and spread it around the world. This means that Islam is the greatest source of idolatry and paganism in history. Now, to you Muslims who insist on taking the pilgrimage to Mecca in spite of its pagan roots, I make a simple request. Watch this video, where I talk about the Kaaba and how you can convert your false pagan worship into something that actually involves God. I'm not sure you'll like it, but it will definitely be an improvement. TikTok, time to rock! Good God. Anime Comic Geek Studio says I'm kind of sad they're not on yet. I think we are on. Yes, we're on. I see my face.
Okay, that was saved.
So, good evening to everyone. I got work. I should move the morning and do that.
Oh shit.
All around the world.
Yeah.
I am your friendly neighborhood boss for doing good. With me. Black
Okay, back up, back up, back up. Okay, you're getting swarmed and probably gonna die. Oh shit. No, Kurt. Well, fuck. Fuck. Back up, back up, back up, back up. One down.
Excellent. And the public really appreciated it. Now that was a challenge well won.
Thank you.
I need to get going.
Huh. That's it. Well, come back again soon.
Why on earth would a Christian want to get a degree in Islamic law? You know, when I was very young, you know, like always, you go to church, nobody wants to talk about Islam. You speak to your friends, nobody wants to talk about Islam. And the Muslims always check us, and they don't like to answer. So I decided to study, so I can learn really what Islam is about. At the same time, you know, I can take a stand for my belief. That's what I did exactly, which is actually against the will of my family, because they wanted me to study something useful, not something stupid. You know? Because for them they are Christians, and studying Islam is the rest of time. It's not worth it, and it is, you know, it's not really, it's not a good thing. And I agree with them, you know. But always good things can happen from bad things. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about your approach. There are kind of two issues here. I hear from Christians. I hear from Christians all the time. And guys, those who are asking to adjust the bass and stuff like that. No, there's not. We've started. There's I can adjust the volume. That's about all we can do here. So just gotta live with it. Any changes have to make at a different time. Christian Prince, I hear from Christians all the time, and you're a perfect person to answer since you're the Christian Prince. I hear from Christians who say that when you're interacting with Muslims, you shouldn't criticize Muhammad or the Quran. This is just going to drive Muslims away. They're not going to listen to anything you say. And so you just focus on sharing the gospel with them, just present Jesus. Don't criticize their position or they're never going to listen to you. That's obviously not your approach, so what do you think of that?
I was thinking about multi-classing. And I might dabble in it later on. But I want bombs. Devastating grenades.
Now, so you're pointing out one, given the group that Muslims tend to not listen to you unless you're. So, in other words, it's kind of the opposite of what many Western Christians think, right? They somehow have come to conclude that if you're aggressive with Muslims, Muslims aren't going to listen to you. You're saying it's actually the opposite. If you don't have an aggressive approach, they're not going to listen to you.
Guess I could sell some of this crap. I always get lost in this city.
And people have been pointing out in the chat that lots of Muslims, contrary to what many Christians in the West believe, lots of Muslims do listen to you, and they leave Islam, and many of them become Christians. So, what kind of results have you seen over the years?
Actually, I can't say to you.
Oh, wait. Hey, well, you just got your sound got much more clear.
All right, that's good. I changed the microphone from my side. Actually, maybe this is what was the switch.
Oh, yeah, that's perfectly clear now, guys.
Don't hesitate to have a rummage around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for.
Yeah, perfectly clear.
Doubt it.
You see, I have in the last few months, I don't know how many, I can't even count how many people left Islam. And, I don't change the way I talk. This is the way I talk. This is the way I mean, even when I speak to Christians, I mean, if somebody he says something I don't like, I speak. This is how I am. I am not someone else. This is how I am. And who like it, or don't like it, it's up to him. I mean, what I can do. I mean, I don't like it, but listen to me.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's especially when I think about people in the Middle East, right? Assyrians, the Copts in Egypt, the Christians in Pakistan. When I think what they have gone through historically due to Islam, the biggest criticism you can say is, guys, you're being too harsh when you're criticizing this ideology that has been oppressing your people for centuries. It's kind of a as someone who lives in America, I just don't think it's my place to tell people who come from that sort of background how they should be talking about Islam.
You see, David, you did just a few, maybe a month or 6 weeks ago, you debated a guy, his name is Bibi Hijab. And you saw how he was trying all his best just to humiliate and to insult, but not to debate.
Yeah.
The reason, for him, you are too nice because you are not coming from the same background. For him, humiliation is a way of winning. It's not, he may make fun, even though he's saying stupid things, even though he said the most stupid things ever, which is against Islam. I mean, not only he lost the debate, he looked like an idiot in the village. So, yet, he think by making fun, he is the winner. So, this is a cultural thing, this is a mentality, this is a mindset. If you don't understand them, you will not even able to go through their mind. They grow this way, and they think if you are kind, that's mean you are weak, and if you you are, very gentle and you are not rude, that's mean you don't, you're afraid. This is how they see it. For me, I am from there. I know how to speak to them. Actually, this is why they don't want to get close to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. In that for that debate, they made me agree ahead of time that I would be very nice and not be insulting at all, and be very friendly the entire time. And so it seems they understand as well that if you can get the Christian debater to be nice the entire time, and the Muslim to be insulting, yes, there are Westerners who will watch that and think, oh, why is this guy being so insulting? But lots of Muslims, boy, they love it. Now, we're going to take some questions here in a minute. I had two questions just on the Arabic, since you're a native Arabic speaker. Not anything specific, but basically here's the idea. The main argument that the Quran gives for its divine inspiration is what I call the argument for the argument from literary excellence, meaning that it's just so amazingly written that it has to come from God. But I read the Quran a lot, and I just think it's the most horrible book that I've ever read. I would literally rather read a phone book than read the Quran. I do read the Quran because, I have to interact with Muslims. But if I were just picking something that I want to read, I would actually pick a phone book before
Goodbye.
I read the Quran.
May the enlightened always keep you in his divine blessing.
You can't make sense of anything it's saying. I mean, at least a phone book is organized. And all these calls for violence and so on. But I'm told by Muslims that this is only because I'm reading it in English. If I were to read it in Arabic, then I would see that it's clearly miraculous, the greatest book, so great that human beings couldn't have written it. So when you read the Quran in Arabic, how do you resist the power of the Quran to compel you to believe that it is the Word of God?
The answer is from the Quran. If you go to chapter 8, verse number 31, the Arab, they were making fun of the Quran, saying this is the fairy tales of the elders. And if we wish, we can make even better than this. Everybody can go and read it. This is a book full of mistakes in Arabic, in a grammar, in a spelling, in a pronunciation. And, they fabricate tons of story. Here we go, we are the Arab Christian. Why we are not amazed? I mean, if Muhammad, he was able to make people to convert to Islam by just hearing the Quran, so why did not convert? Why Muhammad, he went in war? Here we go, they are Arab in his time, and they were making fun of the Quran. So if you go in the Quran, you will find the word the fairy tale mentioned 9 times. The Arab, they said to Muhammad, this is fairy tale and this is stupid. And then Muhammad, he says, well, it's stupid, can you make something like it? And this is a stupid challenge. I mean, I'm just saying to you, this is stupid. You say to me, can you make some stupid like mine? So, Muhammad did not succeed.
Do you need something?
The Arabic is a stupid language, the way he used it, and he was...
How many times am I going to ask her about her?
I must leave you. See you later.
And if you want to talk about the Book of Wisdom, I don't know if you can open chapter 24, verse number 61, and read to the audience, and they will be astonished about how stupid this book is. I mean, this is a God who speaks, and he teach, and he squeeze his head, and he send an angel with a message from thousands and millions of miles away. Remember where Allah, God knows where Allah is. And now he come to us to say to us, you can eat alone, and you can eat in your home, and you can eat with your sister, and you can eat in the house of your mother. Anybody can read the verse, chapter 24, verse number 61.
Want me to go and read it for everyone?
Go ahead.
All right. So this is the greatest book ever written. It can only be written by God, everyone. There is no blame on the blind man, nor is there blame on the lame, nor is there blame on the sick, nor on yourselves, that you eat from your houses, or your father's houses, or your mother's houses, or your brother's houses, or your sister's houses, or your paternal uncle's houses, or your paternal aunt's houses, or your maternal uncle's houses, or your maternal aunt's houses, or what you possess the keys of, or your friends' houses. It is no sin in you that you eat together or separately. So when you enter houses, greet your people with a salutation from Allah, blessed and goodly. Thus does Allah make clear to you the communications that you may understand. And I think everyone in the chat is ready to recite the Shahada
is
if
not
they have
here.
already, because that
At
is
least
so
not
masterful.
yet. Remember, my child, The bookmaker told us that he hung around here as well.
That's true. You were right. Let's come back later.
Legit, the only reason I'm doing this right now is to finish this asshole stuff. There's almost only so much time killing I can do.
Good evening. Are you the one they call Candy Cane?
Who are you?
Desardet, legate of the merchant congregation.
The legate, no less. I imagine in these cases, the one accompanying you is the famous Petrus.
You seem to be very well informed. Therefore, you might be able to answer my question. What do you know about a woman in a green coat?
Why would I tell you?
We know that you have business with this woman, and that she is actually the Mother Cardinal.
How did you... You would be better off forgetting that.
That's not exactly the response I'd imagined. But nevertheless, seems rather eloquent.
I told you to forget about it. Or you'll soon run into trouble. Legate or no legate.
Come on. It was just an innocent little conversation. Goodbye, Mr. Kane.
Bye. And Godspeed.
We have enough information.
Really? Is the fact that she bets on fights that are potentially fixed enough for you?
It's already a huge scandal. Let me just think about it for a little while. I will find a way of putting this information to good use.
I have faith in you, Father.
I guess we're not. I guess we're not killing this guy. Well, now I'm disappointed.
To you is that which dies of itself, and blood and flesh of swine, and that on which any other name than that of Allah has been invoked, and the strangled, and that beat to death, and that killed by a fall, and that killed by being smitten with the horn, and that which wild beasts have eaten, except what you slaughter, and what is sacrificed on stones set up for idols, and that you divide by the arrows, that is a transgression.
Glad to see you, my friend. Can I do anything for you?
I'm sure there are here even more people
I must leave
ready
you.
to recite the Shahada after hearing that.
So he completed his favor upon them by saying to them, you cannot eat pork. That's it, Islam is complete now. So all those the chapters after, and here you notice, I don't know if you notice with me, David, that in the same verse at the end it says, after all what he forbade, if you are hungry, still you can eat all of those, which means you can eat pork. Even pork you can eat. But then we find this is a contradiction for chapter 2, verse number 65. Isn't it Allah who cursed the Jews and he made them pigs and monkeys because they broke the Sabbath? Why they broke the Sabbath? Because they are hungry. Because Allah, he made this fish only appear in the Sabbath. So those people, if they are hungry, they are not allowed. But if the Muslims are hungry, they can eat pork.
Yeah, I've never actually made a video on that one. I might have to knock out a video on on that contradiction there. One more question, then we'll turn it over to chat here. Along the same lines, one of the other things that Muslims say, because one of the main arguments that they give, thanks to Ahmed Deedat and Zakir Naik, is
Karans,
the
do you need
amazing
something?
scientific insights
Nope.
I
of
must
the
leave you.
Quran. That Muhammad
See you
knew
later.
things that no one at the time could have known and that weren't discovered until centuries later. Scientists are still marveling at the amazing scientific accuracy of the Quran even today. I sit here and I read the Quran and it looks like a scientific catastrophe. Like if you were to invent the most ridiculous picture of the universe that you could possibly come up with, that's what Muhammad believed about the universe. If you could come up with the silliest theories about human reproduction that you could possibly come up with, that's what Muhammad believed about human reproduction. But what I hear from my Muslim friends is, in the Arabic you find that everything is correct, that it's amazing, it has all these scientific insights. Since you read the sources in Arabic, would you agree with the Muslims that their sources are filled with amazing scientific insights that prove that Islam is true?
The Quran is the most stupid book ever I saw all my life, and I challenge any Muslim to prove you wrong. The God of Islam even don't remember which one he created first, a tree